Welcome to Living in Beauty. It's Tuesday, March 19th, 2019, day 974 on the road, and we're in Donna, Texas. To illustrate how deep we are in Texas, Donna is right near to the town of Pharr and the town of Mission, or Mission, I don't know how they pronounce it. But Donna is like New York City compared to the places we've been the last few weeks, like Armistead National Park and Big Bend. Big Bend may be the best national park you've probably never heard of, but even if you have heard of Big Bend, you'll probably never see it. That's because Big Bend is not an easy reach by any mode of travel, and the park welcomes only about 350,000 visitors a year. But maybe that's good for Big Bend. Less is more and all that. Low attendance reduces infrastructure and provides a more authentic experience. We just learned about Big Bend last year in the Living in Beauty comments from Bill, Carol, and Cindy, and we'd like to thank them because this park is now on our top 10 favorite places. Because of those comments, we resolved to visit Big Bend on this Texas border hug adventure, but we almost missed out when we got sick. We woke up in Marathon, Texas with a bad cold. High winds and freezing temperatures thrashed our immune system so badly that we almost canceled the national park experience of a lifetime. With low fevers, sore throats, and sniffles, thank the Chisos we weren't thinking rationally, we set out on the 100-mile drive into the Big Bend wilderness. As we drove down the 385 toward Boquillas Canyon, the weather transitioned from cold, wet, and windy into pleasant, semi-tropical conditions. Our research had prepared us for that, but what surprised us is that before we could pull off the 2-lane highway to cool the tires and admire the scenery, we were already making plans for our next visit. I blame the bluebonnet porn for that. The historic event was completely unexpected. Evidently, Big Bend decided it was time for an unprecedented early-season super bloom, which some curators of bluebonnets say is the best display in 30 years. After pulling off at the Rio Grande Village to buy essentials at the campground store, we returned to the truck to share a fresh box of tissues and talk strategy. What old couple suffering with a nasty cold goes camping in a harsh and remote wilderness? Wiser ones would have driven back to Marathon while they had the health. Even though it's freezing up there, at least they'd have the comfort of full hookups. But we stepped out into the noonday sun to inspect our surroundings. A warm breeze from the Rio Grande, bearing the heady fragrance of blooming acacia, gave us an encouraging nudge. Okay, Big Bend, we'll stay. Our wonderful campground host, who probably felt sorry for us, showed us to our sick room for the week, a first-come, first-served site in the no-generator section, situated an ideal distance from a potable water source. Later, we learned that this sweet spot is probably the best off-grid campsite in the entire park. Our scrubby mesquite and creosote grove fluffed out in spring foliage as we rested beneath the branches, sipping our ginger and turmeric tea. The neighbors would stop in periodically to perform a wellness check. A dove couple who are our morning companions, a roadrunner who raced through in the evening, and the vermilion flycatchers who were nurturing their little nest. Even the buzzards had an interest in our personal health. We were so miserably sick that even Pico took up sympathy sneezing. Yet we remained happy campers, even though we hadn't convalesced in a remote place without a cell signal or Wi-Fi since Lake of the Woods near Klamath Falls in Oregon, over 2 years ago. In our weakened condition, we could only imagine what was out there beyond our serene Tanglewood sanctuary. But every evening at sunset, we got a glimpse of what we were missing. Then later, the stars came out. I'm not sure what for, but it was quite a turnout. The longer we observed the congregation, the more their numbers multiplied, which had an unsettling effect. So then we'd go inside and call it a night. Night times usually involved homemade soup and a couple rounds of 5 crowns, and then to bed with our Kindles, windows open to draw in the sundown smell of the river and the soulful pining of frogs and song dogs. Slowly, we healed. Nature is always the physician, but time reaps all the glory. Each day we napped less and walked farther, and our strength returned well enough to go to the hot springs. We drove about 2 steep off-road miles through a gulch, where we parked and hiked an easy 1/4 mile to the Rio Grande. After a good long soak, our health turned the corner. As long as we had plenty of tissues in our pockets, we were good to go. With only about a week left, we missed some of the highlights because we didn't want to push it too hard and relapse. But we managed a day-long scenic drive and several short hikes, enough to feel vindicated for a solid week of infirmity. And what a great afternoon we had with the neighbors just across the river at Boquillas del Carmen. It felt silly to take the boat, but we were delighted to finally be on the other side of our cold and on the fun side of the border. We did a bit of shopping and stopped at Jose Falcon's restaurant for margaritas as we surveyed our campsite on the other side of the river and wondered where in the Sam Hill a border wall was going to go. Well, Big Bend will decide that issue, because if Big Bend wants flowers, Big Bend gets flowers. If Big Bend wants all the stars, then Big Bend gets all the stars. If Big Bend wants to entertain a northern polar vortex and drop 60 degrees overnight, then your truck had better be wired with seat warmers, because Big Bend rules. 2 weeks since our departure, I find myself wondering what's happening in our little grove. Who hatched? How's Roadrunner and the doves? Is Sierra del Carmen grandstanding tonight? I can only be certain that things are going precisely the way Big Bend likes it. Thank you for joining us at Living in Beauty. If you like this post and want to be notified when a new one is released, please enter your email address and click the follow button at the bottom of this page. Okay, that's it for now. Till next time.